Well, the crisis in Ukraine topped the agenda at the NATO Defense Ministers meeting that wrapped up in Brussels on Thursday. The Western military alliance urged Russia to avoid actions that could be misinterpreted as provocative after the pro-Russia takeover of the Parliament building in Crimea. CCTV's Sandra Gathmann has details now from the NATO talks.
Ministers, Excellencies.
It was supposed to be a routine NATO Defense Ministers meeting, but the situation in Ukraine changed the plan. After calling for a sovereign, independent and stable Ukraine, NATO Secretary General Anders Fogh Rasmussen said in subsequent communications with the alliance that Russia made it clear that its military exercises in the region have nothing to do with Ukraine.
I'm extremely concerned about the most recent developments in Crimea. This morning's action by an armed group is dangerous and irresponsible. I urge Russia not to take any action that could escalate tension or create misunderstanding.
Russia's surprise announcement that it would conduct large-scale military exercises in the region raised concerns at NATO, as some of those drills will take place at Ukraine's eastern doorstep, especially the pro-Russian Crimean Peninsula. The majority of people there are ethnic Russians who favor closer ties to Moscow than the European Union.
This is a time for very cool, wise leadership on the Russian side, on everybody's side here. So, yes, we're concerned. We're closely monitoring it, and we are continuing to talk with our Russian counterparts about what their intentions are and what the motives are behind some of this.
NATO was particularly adamant that Ukraine's own military stays out of the crisis, as Crimea's ethnic Russians defy Ukraine's Europe-leaning interim government with a show of force and Russian flags. There were frank conversations, too, about NATO's own security pressures as member countries continue slashing their defense spending, added to the concern that Afghanistan has yet to sign an important bilateral agreement that will allow NATO forces to continue training Afghan troops. Without it, the country faces a serious security void. The U.S.-led alliance has been planning a large-scale pullout of troops by the end of 2014 for some time. The decision to pull all troops, the so-called zero option, is a move that NATO officials say has been forced upon them.
No security agreement, no troops and trainers. These are the hard facts.
As the two-day defense meeting came to a close, NATO staunchly defended its determination to keep Afghanistan and Ukraine secure, a goal that appears far from certain. Sandra Gathmann, CCTV, Brussels.